This is the value of immortality. Totally fascinated today with the concepts of meditation and what it implies and what its goal is. So that's kind of led me to just really think about the concept because we talk about mindfulness, but if you think about it, meditation, the goal has more to do with mindlessness, right? To get away from the mind. So here's what I wrote. It's interesting to observe our great desire to turn off our minds and take control of our thoughts. So that we constantly are working hard at trying to shut our mind down and control our thoughts. We talk a lot about this thought thunderstorm. So it makes sense as those thoughts can get us into trouble. But why would we make the same effort? Why wouldn't we make the same effort? So we're trying to shut off our mind, right? So we can control our thoughts. But meanwhile, that's what the mind does. It thinks, right? It processes. So why wouldn't we make the same effort to stop our heart from beating? I mean, that's what the heart does. That's the heart just doing its job, right? Isn't it beating out of control as well? So just like your mind is having thoughts out of control, thoughts 40, 60,000 a day, isn't your heart just like randomly beating without you controlling it? Why don't you try to stop that? Can you see that you have a tendency to identify yourself with the things that you are not? I wrote that. I love that. Can you see that you have a tendency, or we have a tendency to identify ourselves with the things that we are not? That's what happens when we buy into our thoughts, which is why we want to shut it down. So you are not the beat of your heart, and you are not the thoughts in your mind. Those are just side effects of those organs doing their thing. So isn't it interesting to put your mind in the same context of like your lungs breathing or your heart beating? We don't try to stop those things for obvious reasons. So why do we work so hard to try to stop our minds from thinking? Why can't we just separate and say, oh, that's my heart beating, that's my mind thinking, and we don't have to identify ourselves with those things? So those are just the side effects of those organs doing their thing. The value of this whole rise up thing. This is the insight that I got from my warm up. The value of this whole rise up thing that I'm doing is just to create an awareness of the things that are going on and identifying that which we control in the manifestation of our reality. We don't control our heartbeat. We don't control our breath. We don't control the thoughts. So let them just do. Let them think. Let them beat. Let them breathe. We control the narrative once we decide to. And that is just when we just start separating ourselves from things that we don't control and identifying what we do control. And once you do that, you can write your own story. So this is the value of immortality. So what makes humans, this is a huge breakthrough. This comes from I remember one time I saw a video. I'm a big Gary Vaynerchuk fan, just because he speaks his mind. I saw a video where a fan saw him in a car and ran up and said, "Oh my God, Gary, you're so amazing." And he rolled his window down because that's the way he rocks. And the fan came up and said to him, they go, "Gary, in 3 words, tell me what the secret to success is." And he looks at her without even thinking and he goes, "You're gonna die." And I just love that. So here's the value of immortality. So what makes humans so unique, you and I, is that we, unlike other species, know that we're going to die. It's an unavoidable and unique thing to our species. Think about it. Does a dog know they're going to die? They might be afraid of getting hurt or things, but they don't know that they're going to die one day. It's a guarantee, you know? So it's a scary and unpredictable thing indeed, but it does represent the very reason that we do anything. So I just want to put it in a context of it being a blessing, our immortality, right? It's the gift of immortality, just like the 24 hours that you have been gifted today, which you'll either do something with or not. Immortality. So think about it. If you could choose to live forever, I think about this all the time because this is where technology and advancements are taking us. If you could choose to live forever, would you? Would you accept that? Would you say, I want to live forever, meaning you'll never, ever die? So think it through. We already have plans for it, and you're all part of the first step already. Life extension is very much here. Even though we're a mess, life extension is happening. Medicine, healthcare, self-care, anti-aging, you name it. We're extending our lives all the time and getting better at it. Not to mention the advancements happening all around us of artificial intelligence, stem cells, mind uploading. Do you know that they're talking about this idea now that's very, very real? And the technology is already there. It's just expensive to actually take your mind, your consciousness, your awareness of who you are, and upload it to a system, probably some sort of a blockchain system, where it'll be there before you die. So the idea would be like in the future, because we don't have the ability to choose to live forever, but maybe we do in the future. We'll be able to like come back as a robot or find another body and then load our mind back into it, and you'll just be you again. So just think about those ideas. So you and I might not see it, but radical life extension is coming. It is completely a reality. It might be our kids, it might be our kids' kids, but it's coming. So to put things in perspective and let you see the value in your current immortality rather than the fear of it, here's a few things to consider. If you knew that you'd never die, would you stay with the same partner? So here I am, madly in love with my wife and going to stay with her forever. But when I say forever, that has a time limit on it. So if you knew you were going to live forever and never, ever, ever die, would you keep your job? Would you keep your relationship? Would you stay with the same partner? Would you want more kids? What would you do? Right? Your kids grow up and then they never die. So what are you going to do? You got to find something to do when they leave the house. Where would we put everything if we lived forever? Right? Thank God that we're going to die one day, right? We got to get rid of stuff. In fact, if you knew that you'd live forever, what would prompt you to even do anything? What would prompt you to get out of bed today and go after things? So, because that that you and I know that we're going to die and the unpredictable clock is ticking, right? That's why we get out of bed. It's actually one of the reasons that we are so special. The real scary thing to consider, here's what's really scary. Dying is not scary. Here's what's really scary is our ignorance to this idea, the way we forget about our immortality. That's why people in Stoicism, we talk about having a mortality mentality. And that's where urgency is created, right? Urgency wouldn't exist if you knew that you were going to live forever. It's what makes us special. And that's why we don't like wasting time, but we still figure a way to do that because we have this ability to turn off our acknowledgement and be ignorant to it. So ignorance to our immortality shows up in procrastination. So procrastination is a side effect of ignorance and unconsciousness to this concept. So what I'm entertaining here is that acknowledging that you're going to die is actually a great thing, right? So the assumption that we have time to spare. So procrastination is actually a death sentence, which is interesting, right? You can actually die before you die. And that would be by just practicing procrastination. When it comes to leveraging your outcomes, procrastination is a death sentence. So remember, everyone is going to die, but only a few, and this is 100% in your control, and you can begin today. Everyone's going to die, but only a few people are going to live. So what is it that you're going to choose today with this blessing of 24 hours of heartbeat, of breath in your lungs, right? Live or die. That's the only thing that you need to make a decision on today. And if you choose to live and you understand that tomorrow is not a guarantee, right? I choose to live and I'm going to run. I'm going to run today at life. So that is my rise up today. Hope that it landed and hope that you created some urgency. My biggest fear is that you or I will go into the regularly scheduled program and run our program today and forget about this moment where we realize that we are going to die one day, right? Because then we'll forget to live. So love and appreciate you all. Have an amazing day. We will run together through Wednesday to this week, and then I will go into moving mode and we'll figure out where I will pop up again after that. So love and appreciate you all. Have an amazing day.